All right, back with another episode of the Cedric Maxwell podcast. Max, what a day in the NBA. I am Josue Pavone. He is Cedric Maxwell. The dust is settled. What an NBA trade deadline. One of the craziest ones that I can remember in my lifetime, Max. I don't know about you, but Kevin Durant heading to Pheonix, forming a new super team mid-season. Man, I'm not used to this. This is crazy. We were up late. Man, what was it? Wednesday night after the game, we went live again at 2 a.m. to break down this trade. The Celtics also made a move, somewhat of a minor move compared to everything else that was going on. But let's talk about Durant first, Max. How do you feel about this new super team in Pheonix? Did they win the trade day, the trade deadline, or what?
Well, I think they won. When you think about the trade deadline, what they were able to do, and you look at Kevin Durant, obviously as that high value target that everybody would have loved to have had, for them to make that move. And I just remember it was a couple of days ago when Brooklyn said, no, KD will not be traded. He will not be moved. And we're going to build pieces around him. And then you wake up early this morning and you hear the news going, wow. And it really shows you how big the NBA is. When the NBA essentially has hijacked the Super Bowl. I mean, Super Bowl is like, okay, the Super Bowl's happening, but man, this news in the NBA is unreal. And the number of players that have been on the move. I talked to Gary Washburn just the other day after Kyrie deal, and I said, what do you think? You think anything else is going to happen? And, nah, I don't think anything might happen. Lo and behold, wow! I mean, this is a monumental move in the middle of the season, and now with Chris Paul, they were able to keep Devin Booker, able to keep DeAndre Ayton, a couple other pieces that they had over there. They didn't lose as much as I thought that they could possibly have lost by getting him. Mikal Bridges, Jae Crowder, who wasn't even playing, some first-round draft picks. If you're a really good team, those picks might be 17, 18, 20, 21, 22.
Yeah,
so
as you always remind me.
This is a great move. And you just spoke about the owner, first day on the job, coming in with this kind of
what a boss.
ambition and movement. Man, this is unreal. The NBA just qualified him. They pushed through his ownership. In like a day. They pushed him to the front of the line so he can make this splash.
Suns owner Matt Ishbia. This is 12 hours. He was introduced as the new owner. 12 hours later, he trades for Kevin Durant and just shakes up the NBA world. That's a heck of a first day.
Oh man, the first day of that happening. And I think, is this the same Matt Ishbia who went to school at Michigan State? Is this I'm not sure what his affiliation is, but I remember hearing about a gentleman who was about to buy a team. And so I'm just blown away. And then with all the other moves, Lakers come in, LeBron put on LeBron's, his epic,
Oh, news now. That's on the back burner now.
That was put on the back seat. And what I loved the other day was Malika Andrews. She was on with Perk and all the other people who they have beside them, and they kept coming up with this alert. And it's like, and you're supposed to stop. It just kept being alert after alert after alert. People moving all over the place, and just an unreal day when you think about the movement in the NBA, salaries and things have to be put together.
And how everything unfolded to the way we found out, each piece by piece, right? Because some of these trades, they were bunched together, but we weren't told the whole story right off the jump, right? I mean, the Suns, not only did they get Kevin Durant, they also get TJ Warren, who I think is a good piece, and then you send in Cameron Johnson, Mikal Bridges, all defensive guy last year. I mean, see, these are the kind of pieces that a team needs to pull a trade off like this, where you're not giving up your best player, your second best player. Shit, DeAndre Ayton's still there. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden now he's your fourth best player. And you've essentially established a big three that's hungry, that can still perform. I mean, this isn't a huge window if we're being realistic here, but Devin Booker certainly makes things interesting in the fact that he's sort of that the one that's still in his 20s and coming off of a injury that had Suns fans worried. I mean, let's face it, the future didn't look good in Phoenix, right? I mean, they needed to make a splash like this in order to put themselves back into not only the contender conversation out west, but now they can catch up in the standings and really work their way up here before Kevin Durant is healthy again.
The seismic move that went from the East Coast to the West Coast is unreal. Now, do you look at the Celtics having a easier opportunity in the East because Durant leaves, and some of the pieces have gone. So now is it everybody right now is pretty much penciling the Celtics in like they're going to be in the finals. But there's a guy named Giannis. And then Milwaukee picks up a guy who I think is going to be good for him, Jae Crowder.
Oh, don't get me started, Max. I've been mentioning Jay for 3 weeks now. 3 weeks. 2 hours before the trade went down, we spoke for about an hour or a half hour, whatever it was, talking about everything. And I'm telling you, if the Celtics if they don't pull this off, Milwaukee is calling right now as we speak. I think I was right.
Yeah, you're right. The thing that I did like, and we're going to see how this rings out at the end, because now it's going to be who's going to be bought out, who's going to be there for the fire sale. Yeah. Jae Crowder, all right, he's off the market, but Westbrook is somebody who probably is going to be bought out. Some of these other players who go to these teams are going to be bought out. Man, look what the Clippers did. Clippers just got rid of their.
We got to talk about that too. But hold on, Max. Before we do that, can we finish up with this Jae Crowder conversation and talk about the cost, what the price tag was on this guy? 5 second-round picks. Wow. That's what was sent to. That's what Milwaukee sent to bring in Jae Crowder. And I thought of you right away, and I was like, man, Max would have did that in a heartbeat. He was like, you want 6? Take him. I'm good. Here's your second round. You hate late first rounders, never mind a second round pick.
And that really is true. But now you never know what you can get. I mean, the best player in the league right now, what you got him in the second round, the Joker. He's taken with the 30, I think it was the 41st, pick in the draft. So you never know what you might get, but for the most part, on that back end, you're not going to get a lot of value. So if you move somebody, the thing I think is going to be crazy, I feel
like you have to with this trade though. You got to get at least you got to strike once, right? Out of 5. You got 1 out of 5 here.
What is going to happen at the NBA draft? Are you just going to be 2 teams there picking every time? Danny Ainge picks again. Hold on. OKC picks.
And Danny Ainge with his 4th pick in the first round, he's picking again.
It's going to be crazy to think about how some of these teams are going to pick and how the NBA draft is going to be. Never mind just all the things that are going on right now. And then you top that off with the Celtics, and you hear, that Jaylen Brown, is going to be out for a while.
Jaylen Brown got hurt Wednesday night.
Fracture in his face, getting hit by an elbow from Tatum. Man, I was just in a grocery store. Guy comes up to me and said, "Hey, I know what happened." Huh? What are you talking about? I know why Brown got hurt. Tatum didn't want him to leave, so he elbowed him in the face. And I was like, what? Is that?
Yes. That guy's on something.
Is that the conspiracy we're going with right now?
Yes.
So, but it's going to be a buyer's market. I'm happy that the Celtics didn't go out and get Jakob Poeltl, because I'm not a big fan of his. Yeah. I tell you who played really well and opened some people's eyes here in this last week or two has been Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett has been really good. He was very serviceable against Joel Embiid. And I was a little disappointed in how Doc Rivers' team performed against the Celtics.
No.
And in a game that was lined up for them, when you did, Jaylen Brown is out. No Marcus Smart. No Rob Williams. No Al Horford. You got
this is a team that's trying to make a statement. Yeah. You're trying to send a message here. You didn't do that.
Everybody and Tom Brady goes, "Oh my God, this Philly team, obviously playing better than anybody right now in the NBA. And their game yesterday was not a good one for them, representing who they are as a team. Harden was good, Embiid was good, but the supporting cast, and in particular, Harris, I was very disappointed in
Tobias Harris. Yeah, that's true. Especially because they had a chance to take advantage of a poor shooting night from Jason Tatum. They did it. They really did.
God. Jason Tatum.
They let Derek White cook.
Derek White was good.
Yeah.
Luke Cornett was. I think Derek. What was Tatum? Was he the fourth leading scorer in the game for the Celtics or something like that? I
want to say he finished with 12, 13.
12 points, because I remember somebody was having an argument with me today. He said, no, I think Jason Tatum had 22 points. I said, no.
22?
He had 12 points in the game. He did hit the clincher at the end, but for the most part, he was being a facilitator.
Yeah. And he almost got a triple-double. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, his handle was crazy nasty yesterday. He was throwing that ball all over the gym. And this is a guy who's a great ball handler for his size.
And he threw a nice lob to your boy, Luke Cornett. Yeah, I mean, look, going into this trade deadline, whether it was through the buyout market or a player like Mike Muscala, who the Celtics traded for in exchange for Justin Jackson and a couple of second-round picks, I figured that would be the type of move
let me ask you this. And that moved the needle how for you?
It wasn't about moving the needle, Max. This team's talented enough. This is insurance. You want some insurance policies on your too big to play Wednesday night.
Mike Muscala is your insurance policy. Is this how you look at it? Is this where you tell you what? Let me get your life insurance policy because I need to look at it. Damn, is that how you go? I'm not. Muscala is
he's serviceable, Max. You make it sound like he's
a jump shooting big that does not really block shots. Luke Cornett was so much more serviceable in just the short term. I know.
Hold on. Wait a minute, Max. Just to piggyback on our conversation before we started this podcast. So you're talking about Muscala can't protect the rim, right? But I mentioned Mo Bamba, and you give me the stink face like I'm on something.
And
he would have been good, honestly.
Well, we'll see how it is. If he is that good, then why would he be traded away?
Because the Lakers know what's up. All right, they need a goon.
No,
they need a goon.
If you are Orlando,
Mo Bamba was traded to the Lakers, by the way. Yeah,
right. But if you Orlando, why would you move him? If you're saying he's shooting 40% from the three as a big, he can block shots, he can rebound, and you moved him for what, a pack of donuts? Well, because he picks fights with Doc Rivers' son. That's why, from the bench. Orlando's own Austin Rivers. You're really up, but so that's where you want to go. So I'm not a Mo Bamba fan. The guy that
he's not a popular guy. Like that's the thing, but I like that about him for this team.
Let me tell you who I hope falls out of the woodworks, and he's not playing. Is going to be down in Orlando. Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross is the name that I would look at, and you can tell this to your cohort, Bobby Manning over there. You tell Bobby Manning to keep my damn name out of his damn mouth on you guys' report. All right.
Hold on. Give some context. Provide some context. People think you're beefing with Bobby right now. So Bobby mentioned a conversation that the three of us had prior to Wednesday night's game, where Max was.
You and I are eating. We're having lunch. We're having dinner, and we're talking about hey, I'm going to walk out, and I hear this mentioned. Does Bobby Manning not know that what goes on in the press room stays in the press room? It's like when you go out on your island trip, Josue, when you tell your boys where you go, yo, man, whatever happened out there on that island stays on that island.
We don't talk about that, right.
So you can tell your boy Bobby Manning that I'm not a big fan right now of.
Well, listen. He admired the hot take because what you were essentially saying was, if you got a chance to trade for Kevin Durant, and if it costs you a Jaylen Brown, you would do it. You would probably do it. I'm paraphrasing here, but something around there, right?
Yeah. Well, both of you keep my name out of your mouth.
He already let it out, man. The cat's out the bag already.
Like Will Smith. And I wish I could just get over and just go, keep my damn name. Did
you see Eddie Murphy? He accepted a Lifetime Achievement Award.
I saw that.
That was hilarious.
But and then everybody got on him for telling that joke, and they thought it was
that was perfect. It's not too soon, all right. It's long enough. Enough time has passed. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think that times have passed. So I agree with you. I mean, but there's so many workable parts. I think the Celtics, for the most part, what they did, they stood pat. Brad Stevens, as you said, likes his team. He likes what he has. He loves his coaching situation. Now, how will he feel, 3 weeks from now, when you don't have, if Jaylen Brown is out for what they're saying, possibly a month, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the prognosis is there, but I'm sure that Jaylen Brown is going to have to be fitted for some kind of protective mask, which he'll have to learn to play with that. Would that be for the remainder of the year? But I knew when he got hit, and I could see him from the corner where we were at. I said, ooh. And immediately I told Sean, I said, it's a fracture. And I saw the same thing happen to Larry Bird. And there was a bone in his face, and essentially he was out. But what they did, they popped it out, went in, popped it back out, and he was able to play for the remainder of the season. He was good to go. I don't know how much fracture he got from the elbow from Jason Tatum. And then it's so ironic when I'm telling Tatum to be tough and strong that he hurts his own play.
Yeah, right. After you said that shit, look what you did. Right.
Get one. Yeah, get one.
And Tatum had that look looking down at him like, "You good, man? You all right?" Like he wasn't even like, "Yo, get up, you all right?" Like, my fault. He was just like, "You good?"
Everybody tried to pick him up, and he jumps up and he runs off the floor immediately, just holding his face, and it was kind of to the side. He'd probably be one of these guys that you would not want to see a picture of him, this morning, because I know that thing had to blow. It had to blow up.
Well, he actually posted a selfie like early in the evening the next day, but I'm sure the swelling came down because I know someone who was right there. And he said, "Man, I got a good look at it. It immediately, the swelling was ugly. It was ugly from what I was told." But yeah, I mean, look, with this going down, I mean, do the Celtics go out and do they address that wing position? Like you said, you mentioned Terrence Ross, that could be a guy. Do you see the Celtics going out and getting one of these buyout candidates?
It depends on who it is. I think they're going to need some firepower right now, and Terrence Ross would be the guy that if he was bought out. He's pretty much out of the rotation in Orlando. He'd be one of those guys. And you have to look at the Celtics as a destination for guys who are being bought out. Yeah. Who would love to say, look, let me go to a championship contending team. I didn't hear any out of anybody's mouth this year. You hear anybody from the West, all from the East, all you heard was two names. Milwaukee and the Celtics. Milwaukee and the Celtics. And for the most part, you heard Celtics and the Phoenix Suns in the finals. Celtics and the Phoenix Suns. And so, man, this is just a crazy, absolutely insane day in the annals right now of the NBA.
Absolutely. Again, like I said from the top, man, I can't remember an NBA trade deadline with this many blockbuster deals, just superstars switching up teams left and right. I mean, look, the Kyrie trade to Dallas, right? Spencer Dinwiddie, Finney Smith, draft picks. That sort of set the table, but I didn't automatically assume that the Brooklyn Nets would go out and trade Durant. Like, how do you think this thing played out? If you had to guess, right? You think it was really Durant calling them? I'm sure there was him meeting them halfway. Like, listen, tell me what kind of offers you got. If it's the type of team that I'm willing that I think will work for me, then I'm down. Because think about it, he's not going to ask for another trade. He's got to make sure the next destination is the one, and this is it. This is it. You got a solidified scorer at the two. You got arguably the greatest point guard of all time, a hungry one looking for his first championship at that point, Chris Paul, and then you have arguably the greatest scorer of all time joining those guys.
Add what
more could you ask for?
But add into that one of the greatest point guards of all time, but in the 16th, 17th year. I think it's his 16th year right now.
He's
So
hungry though, Max. He's
you could,
hungry.
I understand the hunger factor, but just an older player in this league, what is he going to bring to the table? How much does he have? That's going to be a question which people are going to ask. And
Are they the favorites to come out of the West for you?
so what?
Would you consider them the favorites to come out of the West?
Right now, I would, considering that
Same.
Steph right now still is on the men's. Are they good enough? Are they good enough right now to play in a 7-game series? How do you feel they would go with Denver? Denver has home court advantage. Nobody's stopping the Joker. I didn't see anything else that Denver did that really made me think of anything, but they have scores. This is it's going to be it's one of them. I think it's either going to be Denver or it's going to be probably Pheonix is the two people I would say, and I think that the Clippers to me was another dark horse, but they got to get their point guard situation. I mean, they just jettisoned 2 guys that we thought were going to John Wall. Like, no, get out of here, Reggie. Back to Houston. Reggie Jackson, get out of here. Yeah. And so, I mean, that to me is like, okay, and that's Ty Lue. That's Ty Lue's position. Right. So Ty Lue didn't believe in those 2 points, saying that they could lead them. So they wanted to go out and try to solidify something else. And here's another thing which comes into play.
Well, I was going to say, did they drop the ball and not trying to make a trade for Kyrie? I mean,
well, I don't know if they did or not. That's a possibility, but here's something that could fall right back into their lap. Westbrook.
Yeah.
Because Danny Ainge, rest assured, I can tell you this, Danny Ainge and that group, they're not keeping Westbrook. Westbrook isn't even looking to get on a flight going to Utah. They've already told him, yo, you ain't.
He said, I'm not an all-star. I got a reason to go to Utah. I'm good.
Don't worry about it. You ain't, the way teams, and it's new to me because back in the day, you had to go, even if they wanted to cut you, you had to go there. Now they're just saying, no, go home. So Westbrook could be a point guard. Paul George has said, look, I wouldn't mind having him back. And Westbrook, even with his shooting woes, the fact that he has really played well, considering he's, utilized that foot speed, getting towards the hole. And if you're Westbrook right now, where do you want to land? And he was already playing in what is it crypto or Staples Centers, whatever that is.
Crypto.com,
All you're doing right now is staying in the same building and staying at your house. If you decide that, you want to go and the Clippers decide that they want to pick him up.
And you're also mean mugging the Lakers as you walk down the hall.
That's true. You are doing just that, which would be crazy. Can you imagine?
He was not so emotional about the whole LeBron becoming the all-time leading scorer. He wasn't feeling it. It seemed like he wasn't a big fan.
Well, wait a minute. So if he wasn't feeling it, what the hell was Anthony Davis feeling?
Anthony Davis was wondering what happened to his skill set. I think he was just going through it, man.
Anthony Davis was salty as any woman I've ever been around. Just say you walk out, and have you ever done this before? You go to a club and you spill a drink on a woman. That's how salty he seemed like he was. Like, I'm not even here. What am I doing here right now? Yeah, he
probably knew about the speech and everything. He's like, hurry up, get this over with. Come on.
I'm good. I kept hearing everybody talking about, well, we need to get Anthony Davis involved. Well, Anthony Davis essentially wasn't even in the picture in that game. Right. And here's if you look at something which is more fascinating to our viewers right now, what in the hell happened in Brooklyn that you acquired all these pieces and you're left now with Ben Simmons and a contract which is freaking untradeable, non-movable,
no value at all, nothing on that.
It's $80 million on the table. At least Westbrook would try to shoot. This dude doesn't even try to shoot the ball.
No, he's not about that life. Not
thing. And he's right now going to be
that's why I feel like Durant was like, hey, man, I'll ride this thing out for the rest of the season. But if you can find a deal, let's do it because I'm all set. Like we're not gonna galvanize anybody together. You know what I mean? Like we're not even motivated. I don't care how many pieces you got because on paper, like defensively, those are some great pieces to surround Durant. But he needs somebody else. Can't be Ben Simmons. What's he gonna do with that? In Brooklyn. And again, I don't think it's one of those things where he's like, look, just send me anywhere because he knows that the last thing he needs to do is ask for another trade, and that contract's not expiring anytime soon. So
let me ask you this.
It works for both sides.
Let me ask you this: if you wake up this morning, you woke up last night, and you're Jock Vaughn, how are you feeling right now?
Oh man, what the? I'm pissed, man. Livid. Like man, we was in second place. He's saying that shit like mad
you
time.
pulled the rug from under me, or what? Jesus, this is surreal. Thinking about them and just
Pheonix did what? He was pissed, man. He was flipping out.
It's a calamity. I mean, if you are
such a nice dude too, he's such a nice guy.
And you Mikal Bridges. What are you doing over there? You Mikal Bridges. You Mikal Bridges. Here's one thing that for the most part, the Celtic fans don't have to think about unless it's in the finals. You're not going to see Pheonix. You've already seen them here. They beat you. You beat them there. You're not going to see Kyrie Irving because you've already had Dallas here and there. So some of those villains right now, you're not even going to see those teams again. And how about the fact that Wiseman with Golden State, the number 2 pick in the draft, essentially they just said, dude, that we're going to take a sandwich and a Pepsi for you right now and send you to Detroit. I mean, that's just crazy. He was number 2 in the draft, 7-footer, could shoot the ball, long, athletic, can run.
They weren't trying to get hit with those penalties, man. They would have to pay him a lot next season. They were like, we're good.
And, she's like, but what were you gonna pay him? He's still on the rookie scale. You're not gonna pay him that much. He's on the rookie scale.
Yeah, but with the taxes that they're paying right now to pay their stars?
The taxes, but his money isn't going to be something that's going to take you that far over the top. Because if you're a rookie, he was second pick in the draft. I would assume that he'd probably be maybe 8 million, maybe a little bit more, someplace in that area. When you got to look at Jordan Poole right now, you're about to pay him a boatload of money. You got Steph, you got Clay.
Yeah, but he produces, Max.
I understand that, but I'm just when you have a young talent, man, and that seems like maybe that's the place you go at. Detroit. Marvin Bagley, who was taken with the second pick in the draft by Sacramento. Where's he at? He's in Detroit. And Wiseman is in Detroit. They got rid of Sadiq Bey. And he is he's in Atlanta now?
Yeah. See, when I first saw the trade, I thought he was going to Golden State, but he got rerouted to Atlanta. So.
I thought it's just like, so I'm looking at, and then everybody says, oh my God, the Lakers have gotten that much better. Are you serious?
You don't like D'Angelo Russell? No? You're not a big fan?
Dude, you already had him. It's like going back to your first girlfriend after about 5 or 6 years. After she cheated on you, you're going, yo, you see her out and going, yo, girl, what's up? Really?
You again? You want?
Yeah, we got that. And you knew what his faults, his deficiencies. He's a sometime scorer. And then he's a guy who doesn't play defense.
Yeah, that's true. He's streaky. He's streaky.
Oh
he's
my
on,
God.
he's on.
And that's what you're looking for to
you got Jared Vanderbilt as well. Good defender. Malik Beasley. I mean, look, they had to turn that Westbrook contract into a few pieces, and I think this is probably the best you're gonna do at this point. It's not like he is he's not the same guy he was a couple of years ago. Let's just put it that way, I guess. The value is not quite the same.
But you're the big Mobamba guy. You're all over that. That's your guy.
Listen, I'm not. It's not the same level as the way I wanted to see Crowder back into a Celtics uniform. However, it would have been nice. I want the Celtics to have a goon. I want someone to come off the bench, get in people's faces, make them uncomfortable. They got bullied in the finals last year, man. Grant Williams not gonna do that for you. Luke Cornett's not gonna do that for you, and that's not a knock on their games, but it just brings another side of the team, right? Like that's like, oh, that's the guy you don't want to mess with, you know. I don't know. It would have been nice.
Oh no,
I didn't realize how many people hate Mo Bamba though, man. People hated my take.
No, you are preaching to the choir when it comes to physicality with the Celtics.
Yeah, you love that shit, man. That's how you used to play. That was your game. That was your MO.
How many times have I told you? I'm like, what I want is one of these guys. We had Al Horford last year with the sneaky elbow on Giannis. I love that. That was like the one. And this year
was like, oh no, I don't think he meant to do that. I was like, no, he meant to do that shit. Come on.
Yeah, and then it was Jaylen. I think it was. I want to say it was Giannis this year, who Giannis played, and he went up to Giannis, and we asked him about it at the game. And he said, "I want all that smoke." He said, "I want all that smoke." So I'm like, "Hey, okay." So if we're getting some of these ruffians back, and just the fact that Marcus Smart is going to be back probably after the All-Star break, and they have survived with him. I didn't get a chance to see it, but for a while, everybody said there was going to be something going on with Toronto.
Your boy Podol.
With Toronto. I mean, Toronto was going to get rid of some of those pieces. Van Vliet was supposed to be a guy that was supposed to be moving around. He's still there. So I just kind of crazy when I think about how this day has been essentially and it's almost touched, the craziest part is almost touched every team in the NBA.
Right.
And I haven't heard anything about Cleveland making any moves. I hadn't heard anything about Chicago making any moves. I haven't heard anything about Indiana making any kind. So there are a lot of teams I haven't heard that much noise from.
I wonder what Miami will do with the buyout market, because
that's another question that Miami has to be looking to do something. But right now, what can Miami do? What can they bring to the table that's going to change their fortune right now with Jimmy Butler? And everybody would say,
would you roll the dice? Would you roll the dice with Westbrook?
If you were Miami, no, Miami he brings you energy. Again, I think
Lowry's been hurting him a bit this year, man.
That's not really true, but I still believe that the best place for Westbrook is going to be with the Clippers. I think that's at the end of the day. Bobby Manning at the end of the day, that's where I think he lands. That's where I think Westbrook lands, and I think he lands there with Ty Lue. They have a bunch of guys who can shoot. But what Westbrook did really well this year is he has pushed the basketball. And I guess we reported at halftime there was a shouting incident with Darvin Ham and Westbrook at the LeBron scoring.
I swear everything about that night.
Be happy.
Right, but everything about that night just spelled the end of Westbrook. Like everything, it was like you could see like the chapter closing, literally, like just him sulking and doing whatever he does, just not paying any mind to what's going on, not even cheering or anything for LeBron, nothing, like just doing his own thing. And then LeBron gets his flowers, obviously, everything happens, and then you just knew like it's a good chance that was his last game as a Laker, and it was, man. They closed that chapter, but
it's fascinating to think about how things have happened and going down in the NBA right now.
I think the Dallas situation is fascinating. Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, I can't.
Here's the thing.
I couldn't even see another.
Before you get started, isn't that old news right now?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Almost seemed like that happened a month ago. I mean, that's how fast things have evolved in the NBA when it was like, oh my God, block. I just remember Kyrie saying, hey, I want out of here. I want to be, and somebody came, Kyrie wants to be traded. I was like, what? And then he gets traded. And I had talked to, Brendan Haywood told me, said, I got sources saying that Mark Cuban wants to pull that deal. Mark Cuban's a gambler. And Mark Cuban says, yeah, I got one of the best
dude that called Boston about Rondo,
one of the best offensive guys in the league. I'm going to pair him with one of the other best offensive guys in the league. And how do you stop that two-headed monster?
I mean, you can do your best to focus on Luka and let Kyrie cook, but it's a two-headed monster for sure. I mean, look, the only question is the other pieces. I mean, you gave up a few, sending to Brooklyn's way, so you wonder how that's going to play out. But you look at the rest of the team and the excitement around it, and Dallas is obviously in the mix there, and they're trying to make a push. I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see how Kyrie adapts, obviously, right? Because it's always the first couple of months is always great, right? But and I don't mean that from I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't mean like, huh?
Josue, it's called the honeymoon right now. The honeymoon effect is when, again,
I'm talking more about basketball.
Max, why are you focused on this girlfriend thing right now? It's the girlfriend that you get early on. How good is she? It's like, oh man, Josue, she's wonderful. You take her, meet your mom. Oh my God, I love her. And then that second month, something's getting quite right. That third month, you're going, yeah, hey man, I'm not sure. But Josue, where's your girlfriend? I'm as you like to say, I'm all set here.
I'm good.
But it's gonna be it's a honeymoon. He's vying to be a great teammate for the next 2.5, 3 months because he's searching to get a huge payday from Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks. So, man, this is some crazy stuff.
When you think about the situation in Brooklyn, and I put this book back here because I remember when this book came out, it was this huge, like, man, it's going to happen. Durant's healthy again. Look out for Brooklyn Nets. They won one playoff series against the Celtics. Like, that's the height of their success. How much of this do you look back on and say, man, they could have really, did something with that before the Harden trade, from the beginning? Do you look at it that way, or do you look at it as that was a disaster from the start?
I don't know. It's just really when it shows you sometimes when the inmates are running the asylum. What can
picking the coach and all that.
When you think about what Kyrie said, we hear it now, and we should have heard the bells going off. We said, "Look, we and Kevin here. We don't even need a coach.
That's right. Yeah.
And Steve Nash is sitting there going, "What did they say?" And here's Steve Nash, who's
and that's the guy they picked. They picked that guy.
Who is the maestro, and then essentially he gets kicked out. Jock Bond, who turned around and did a great job and talked, so glowingly about Kyrie Irving. And for that to happen, man, I would. The Celtics I'm trying to think. Are we playing Celtics playing Brooklyn again this year, or is that the last?
They go to the Knicks.
Knicks.
That's it. Yeah.
But Brooklyn does come to the Garden. There's a
one
game,
more time, I believe,
which is coming up. I think it's the second or third of
March
that Brooklyn's going to be around. So crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the way that whole situation just exploded this past few days, man, it's wild. It's crazy.
Let's do it like they do in Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
Imagine diehard Nets fans. Like, man, what the fuck happened, man?
The whammy guy, he's sitting there talking about I've made more people miss free throws. What is he doing?
The whammy guy looking at his phone today, like,
what are you doing with the Kyrie Irving jerseys? What are you doing with the Durant jerseys? Man, what a windfall it is right now for the NBA and the players. You think about the jerseys right now that are going to be sold in Pheonix.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the jerseys?
This is back, man.
Yeah,
they haven't been favored to win a championship like this since ever.
How are the jerseys being sold right now in Dallas? Luka's was coming off the shelf, but now you got Kyrie's coming off the shelf.
You gotta wait for summertime for that one. You gotta wait a little bit.
Or do you go right now is, you like to do just wait, or you wait and just go right now to TJ Maxx and get you a Kyrie Irving Brooklyn jersey for like $6.42.
80% off.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I never did that. Get out of here. Don't be putting that out there like that.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Maybe back in the day. Anyways, yo, let's wrap this up with this, man. We joked about it earlier, but let's give LeBron James his flowers, man. Oh, beating Kareem's record in front of him, doing it in 3 quarters. I mean, people can say what they want about them winning the game because they definitely caught another L. I think it's symbolic in a way of just how their season has gone, but we can't you can't take it away from LeBron, man. Regardless of how the team's doing this year, one heck of an accomplishment. You know, Kareem held that record from the moment from the day he retired, and it was before, or I want to say the same year as LeBron was born, right?
It was like it's almost 40 years, I think, that they said he held this record.
39. Yeah, that's right. And then he scored 39.
Came to me.
Right.
Yeah, somebody came to me at the Garden and said, "Oh, I think it's a travesty right now that LeBron James is his record. He's going to beat Kareem because there were no threes." I said, "Whose fault is that? Is that LeBron's fault? Is LeBron's
He was
fault?
born too late. This fault
is the era that the threes were being shot in. That the 2-pointers right now that you would get from Kareem now are like, the 2-pointers that Cedric Maxwell made, or Robert Parrish made, or Kevin McHale made. They don't hold water right now, though, because the inside game is essentially null and void now. It's about shooting the 3, but it's just real. It was really cool, you know. I think it was cool. I'm a big LeBron James fan, and I heard Perkins say something like Michael Jordan couldn't carry LeBron James's jock. I was like, whoa. Wait a minute, Perk. Let's back up. Let's back up. I know that's your boy LeBron. I love him, but
I know you caught up in a moment, but
yeah, you might.
A lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yo, that's when you tell your boy, yo, man, I know you caught up, but you need to pump the damn brakes over there. Okay? Pump the brakes.
Oh, no. He keeps going on, and no one's talking. Everyone's kind of like, yeah.
Somebody in your group got to go, yo, man, pump the brakes, man. Pump the damn brakes, dog. Because
pump the side.
Yeah, you're going a little bit too far right now.
Man, it's a heck of an accomplishment, and especially because I don't think he's gonna retire anytime soon. You know, he can keep it going for another 2 years, and he wants to play with his son. He can do that. Him winning another championship, that is harder to envision.
He's going to push that thing out someplace. He's at 38,000. He's gonna, by the time he gets through playing, I think gonna be about 44,000. And that's what you're looking at. And is there a generational player that is going to be there? There was somebody gave me some stats the other day, said if Jason Tatum averaged 29 points for the next 16 years, and he has a possibility of being around, he would get to where LeBron's at right now. Not what LeBron is going to add on for the next 3 years. LeBron James right now can play for the next 3 years if he wants to. I'm going to be more fascinated when LeBron James hangs it up. It's like you knew Tom Brady was going to hang it up. When is LeBron James going to say, look, I'm good here? I know he said he wanted to play with his son and all this, but when is he going to say? But because one thing you do see with LeBron, and I would give him that, and I didn't think it would hold, you can still see the competitive juices.
Oh, yeah.
Out on the floor thinking that, yo, I'm still that dude. I'm still that dude. I'm still one of, or I'm one. I might not be that dude, but I'm one of those dudes still. When you think about who I am and what I'm able to do and what I bring to the table.
And then he got those notifications like we did and found out that Pheonix just built another super team while he was sleeping.
Is that what he's doing this phone like this? Going, hey, baby, come here a minute. Wake up. Wake up a minute.
You're
like this. Bobby Manning just said that Max
would have traded Jaylen. That used to be him, man. He used to be the one putting together super teams and waiting to see what teams, what the organization, what kind of star player they were going to trade for. And not this time around. I like how you tweeted out the other day. Is it me or no? It must be me. Like it's me. Like I'm not getting what I want over here. You know.
Just wait. What this is,
or
what
Durant.
this is now is it seems like it turned into video game where I'm able to get this guy and this guy, and I'm gonna take this guy and this guy. I'm gonna put all these guys together, and it's the crazy part about it is there's still an enormous amount of talent out there. Because I'm gonna tell you who's a team is gonna be coming, and it's gonna be OKC. OKC has a ton of picks. They have some really good players.
SGA, All-Star SGA, that's my dude.
Chad Holmgren, another guy who didn't even play this year.
Yeah.
Who was a big for him. He's only going to be stronger and probably better next year. So it's just this NBA, man, is, I mean, I know they used it back in the day. They said it's fantastic. Well, the NBA is fantastic when you think about all the things that they paired together right now and how these teams are running. This is nuclear war right now. Essentially, you know, we talk about that Chinese weather balloon that went over the United States gathering information, and then the U.S. shot it down. Well, you know, they haven't even shot this thing down, and it's still that big.
I always say there's out of all the four major league sport, all the sports, all the four major leagues, no one does it quite like the NBA in terms of this. Whether people want to call it player empowerment or movement, whatever it is, but superstars switching up teams mid-season, off-season, it doesn't matter. You know, this is the type of stuff that no other league, you don't see this. You know, you don't see the same thing in baseball or football or hockey or anything.
Just the way I was thinking about that, and I used to be a huge sports fan. I'm not as much now, but I can't tell you, and this is crazy, I don't think I can name 15 Major League Baseball players right now. I can't. You know, nothing. It's like, and that's supposed to be the national pastime, but I can't tell you. You know, when the McGuire was around and Sammy Sosa, and
when everyone was juicing, the good old days, right?
And all these things, and the Yankees, and you know, I don't know anymore. I don't even know who's what, and that's how far I think their game has gone. And for the NBA again, to hijack Super Bowl weekend when it's only supposed to be about the Super Bowl, and then you tell me what happened, and, you know, quickly, what just happened to Michael Irving?
That's a good question.
A whole nother thing where, you know, if you guys aren't in tune, Michael Irving,
he's not gonna be on the broadcast team for the Super Bowl week. Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So why are they so sure that this woman's allegations hold true?
Well, he backpedaled, and then he said that he put himself in that hotel lobby because clearly he's on camera. I mean, I'm assuming here, but like, it's like
he was there for 24 seconds, he says 45 seconds.
Right. I don't know the whole story from the woman's perspective, but I know that part of it. It was the one that they said, I guess we're gonna take her word for it. I don't know.
Josue, you know what happened? This thing right here probably had a wire on it, and probably had a mic in it. She might have been working the event. He might have, and this is all speculation, might have been working the event, and he says a couple of choice words to her, and she's like, "Did you get that? What was said?"
Got him. Right.
And so how can
they got something on him, man?
Yeah. I mean, how can you kick the guy out just like that? Because this is his prime time. He was going to be on ESPN. He was supposed to be on NFL Network. And they're saying right now, dude, just go home. Matter of fact, we don't even know if you got tickets right now to go to the next event.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I was reading up on it today. I didn't even know about it until it popped up on my notifications. But who do you got for the Super Bowl before we get out of here?
I am with the Eagles. I just think their defense is surreal. And their offense is they bump and grind. They go bump
dominating. Yeah,
they can bump and they can play your game. Patrick Mahomes is going to be unbelievable. He's gonna have to be He gonna have to, and he's already, that ankle, but boy, he's gonna have to be running from the get-go because that defense, they come and they come
in.
He's
put on a show for sure, man.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do. I think it's gonna be a really close game, but I'm with you. I think the Eagles win it.
Yeah. That's it. Well, guys, thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for, staying tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed, the latest episode. Josue wasn't there with me, but
man, that was a great interview, man. I forgot to talk about it with all the stuff going on. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we had just recently I had a good meeting with a fellow Kentstonian, Maceo Parker, who was of James Brown fame. A little, you talk to him and you think, that all the things he's forgotten, but there was moments where he just lit the room up, and he did a rendition. He did a rendition of, I want to say it was Ray Charles, a song where he was going to be, and it just seemed like the light bulb went off. It was fascinating to sit down and talk.
Yeah, man, you really got him going, especially talking about the rehashing stories and the fact that you guys are both in the same town, man. That's really cool, man. I know you found out
the last one. Just wait, he played with Prince. He played with James Brown. He played with the Ray Charles band. I mean, this dude he's music history, and it was fascinating. So again, we thank you guys for being a subscriber. Hit that like button. Join us again. We got some good stuff coming up this month.
Yes, sir.
I think we're actually gonna have we might end up doing a little surprise. You might see Cedric Maxwell in the kitchen. And I might be
that's right. We gotta put that together.
A salmon recipe, which I would love for you guys to follow. And man, you would love it at home. Very simple, about 3 or 4 steps, and man, you'd be the king of the day. So all these people out there, just again, thank you very much for coming and joining us, and hope we do it again and again.
Absolutely. And you already know you can hit us up on Twitter, all social media, and of course find all of our episodes on clnsmedia.com. We'll see you guys next week.
Bobby Manning, keep my damn name out of your mouth.
What he said. That's right.